Faced with the need to understand the motivation and personality disorders behind the rapidly increasing phenomenon of serial killing, the FBI set up their Behavioral Science Unit at the Bureau's headquarters in Quantico, Virginia, in 1972. At first, they studied the details of solved cases, such as that of Harvey Glattman, see pages 62-4, but gradually they began to extend their expertise to the prediction of the likely characteristics of active, unapprehended murderers. On the evening of January 23, 1978, truck driver David Wallen, 24, returned to his home in Sacramento, California, to find his 22-year-old pregnant wife Terry butchered in their bedroom, her abdomen slashed open. An empty yogurt carton beside the bed revealed that it had been used to drink the blood of the victim, and several pieces of her body were missing. There was no other apparent motive for the murder. The police contacted the local FBI coordinator for the BSU, Russ Vorpagel, and he called Robert Ressler, one of the leading psychological profilers in Quantico. Ressler was about to leave for the West Coast for a lecture tour, but before he left, he drew up his preliminary profile of the probable offender. Then, even as Ressler was packing his bags for the California trip, the killer struck again. Around midday on January 26, 3 bodies were discovered by a neighbor in a home less than a mile away from the Wallen murder. The dead were Evelyn Miroth, 36, her 6-year, the most bizarre old son Jason, and Daniel Meredith, 52, a family friend. In addition, Mrs. Miroth's grotesque and 22-month-old nephew, Michael Ferreira, was missing. All 3 dead victims had been senseless killings, shot with a .22, and Evelyn Miroth had been mutilated in an even more obscene manner I've seen in 28 years. Then Terry Wallen. The killer had apparently left in Meredith's red station wagon, which was found abandoned not far away. In the baby's playpen, there was a pillow heavily soaked in blood. The bathtub contained bloody water, as well as brain and fecal matter, and there were signs that blood had been drunk here, too. The local sheriff described the scene as the most bizarre, grotesque, and senseless killings I've seen in 28 years. As soon as he was informed of the crime, Ressler at once added more details to his profile, stating that the killer was single, living alone in a location within 1/2 to 1 mile from the abandoned station wagon. He told Vorpagel, before this man had murdered, he had probably committed fetish burglaries in the area, and once he was caught, we'd be able to trace his crimes and difficulties back to his childhood. Fetish burglaries were those in which the stolen items were articles of women's clothing, rattier than valuable items that could be sold, which the burglar took for autoerotic purposes. Armed with this information, some 65 police officers began to question hundreds of people in the area around the station wagon. A valuable lead came from a woman in her late 20s who, on the day of Terry Wallen's murder, had spoken to a man she had known in high school some 10 years earlier. She was shocked at his appearance. A disheveled, cadaverously thin, bloody sweatshirt, yellowed crust around his mouth, sunken eyes. His name was Richard Trenton Chase. 2 police officers staked out Chase's home, which was close to where the station wagon had been abandoned. When he came out, they arrested him in possession of a .22 pistol and the wallet of Daniel Meredith. His truck, parked close by, was 12 years old and littered with rubbish. There was also a 12-inch butcher's knife and rubber boots splashed with blood. Chase's apartment was a filthy mess. Detectives found 3 food blenders with blood in them, blood-stained clothing, and a collection of newspaper articles about his murders. In the refrigerator were dishes containing body parts and a container with brain tissue. A calendar was marked "Today" on the dates of the 2 previous killings, and, ominously, the same word was marked on 44 forthcoming dates throughout 1978. Some months later, the body of missing baby Michael Ferriera was at last found close to Chase's home. Feelings against the vampire of Sacramento ran so high in the city that the trial was held in San Jose. It opened in January 1979, and Chase was charged on 6 counts of first-degree murder. On May 8th, he was found guilty and sentenced to death.